It's time. We are going to find out what Donald Trump was up to during the second GOP presidential debate. Let's check it out, shall we? It was on C-SPAN 4 hours ago. We're a bit late, but I think it's gonna be okay. We'll just have to, of course, skip through the introduction where he plays copyrighted music.
Available to watch at our website, cspan.org. We'll leave it here now to take you to Republican presidential candidate and former President Donald Trump. Speaking.
Nope.
Do not this going on out there. But I'm thrilled to be back with the workers, UAW members, and proud patriots.
Yeah, so something to keep in mind for this particular appearance is that this was intended to be something where he showed up to talk to current and former UAW workers, which is pretty interesting, right? Like, both Joe Biden and Donald Trump trying to appeal to, working class Americans by, courting this demographic. Meanwhile, the Republicans berate Joe Biden for going to the picket line and wasting time and not doing anything. And it's just like, well, it's a pretty key component of the voting bloc, right? Like that's why Trump is doing it too. Except he's not going to the, picket line. He could have, chose not to. I wonder why.
Of the great state of Michigan. Great state, great people. Here in Michigan, across the country tonight, there are countless thousands of auto workers and skilled tradesmen worried about the future and what the future holds for themselves and for their incredible families. I want to begin this evening by saluting these truly great Americans who do not get the credit they deserve. You don't get the credit they deserve. Now they want to go all electric and put you all out of business. You know that, right? To the welders, assembly
Oh shit, he's in Clinton Township, the seat of their power.
line workers, machine operators, forklift drivers, pipe fitters, tool and die makers, mechanics, electricians.
Oh, really? KBS, do you have video of that? Because that would be really funny.
Technicians and journeymen, we love being with you, and we love being with you right in your environment. You built this country, you love this country, and you are the ones that make our country run. You know that,
Seed.
right? Before I stepped into the political arena 7 years ago, I spent my whole life working alongside of Americans just like you. Spent a lot of time with you. You just don't know that, but I spent a lot of time with you and people just like you. Now, I put everything on the line to fight for you. I've risked it all to defend working class from the corrupt political class that has spent decades sucking the life, wealth, and blood out of this country.
Also, some conservative parents think they're more reasonable than they are. They think they'd never abuse gay kids, but they don't have any and would be abusive when confronted. Yeah, that's the other thing, there's definitely, in conservative ideology, it seems to breed a lot of people with deep, deep, deep denial,
That's why I'm here tonight, to lay out a vision for a revival of economic nationalism.
Oh, Namredic, electric cars don't need to be built. They're mined straight from the ground. They're like dwarves.
And our automobile manufacturing lifeblood, which they're sucking out of our country.
Manufacturing.
I want a future that protects American labor, not foreign labor. A future that puts American dreams over foreign profits. And a future that raises American wages, that strengthens American industry, that builds national pride, and that defends this country's dignity, not squanders it all to build up foreign countries that hate us.
Remember when people had conspiracy theories about, like, these teleprompters? Like, these little glass things that would be around podiums. Remember when they were, like, really conspiratorial about Obama and these things? Simpler times, really.
And you know where they are? They're located all over the world, but they're mostly on the other side of the world. We don't want that. Under crooked Joe Biden, you have none of this. You have none.
Yet, not Polydactyl Black Cat. Not only does no one believes that this guy is pro-union, but on top of that, like, do you guys really think a guy who was found to be discriminatory against like hiring black people is pro-union? Nah.
None of the things we want. Instead of economic nationalism, you have ultra left-wing globalism. They hate our country. And the workers of America are getting, to put it very nicely, screwed. You're getting screwed. Yesterday, Joe Biden came to Michigan to pose for photos at the picket line. But it's his policies that send Michigan auto workers to the unemployment line. He only came.
Well, they're not auto workers if they're unemployed, right? What are you talking about?
After I announced that I would be here, you know, he announced quite a bit later. Spoke for a few seconds. Did you notice he spoke for what, a few seconds? And he had absolutely no idea what he...
I don't know, bud. You had opportunities to visit striking workers during your presidency, did you? No? Oh, you spent 0 seconds talking. That's crazy, bro.
Was saying he didn't know where he was. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what we were saying. Where am I? He's saying, where am I? Oh, you're in Michigan. Oh, that's great. What do they do in Michigan? They grow wheat in Michigan, he said. Don't they grow wheat? No, that's Iowa and other places. Biden's cruel and ridiculous electrical...
Yeah, Namretic. Currently, California Dems are trying to pass, basically, state pay for striking workers, which would give SAG-AFTRA just unbelievable bargaining power. Can't wait to see that happen.
Look at this. He wants electric vehicle mandates that will spell the death of the U.S. auto industry. You know...
How would electric vehicle mandates spell the death of the American auto industry? It literally would force the American auto industry to just make more cars. It oh no, the American auto industry is going to die because they're making more cars.
It doesn't matter. I watch it. You're negotiating a contract. You're all on picket lines and everything, but it doesn't make a damn bit of difference what you get, because in 2 years you're all going to be out of business. You're not getting anything. What they're doing to the auto industry in Michigan and throughout the country.
Oh, why are you even striking? You're not. They're all going to be out of business anyway. You might as well not strike, folks. Just take what they're giving you. Yeah, pro worker Donald over here.
Is absolutely horrible and ridiculous. Hundreds of thousands of American jobs, your jobs, will be gone forever because crooked Joe Biden is selling out. But I don't think it's him. I don't think he actually knows what the hell he's doing. He doesn't. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. It's not his fault. Let's not blame him. But he's surrounded with radical left Marxists and crazy people, fascists, bad people. He's selling you out.
Citations needed. All of the fascists around Joe Biden. Which ones? Which ones, Donald? Name them.
To China, he's selling you out to the environmental extremists on the radical left. People have no idea how bad this is going to be also for the environment, you know, those...
Ah, yes. The environment, famously positively impacted by cars spewing gas fumes.
Batteries, when they get rid of them, and lots of bad things happen, and when they're digging it out of the ground to make those batteries, it's going to be very bad for the environment. You can be loyal to American labor, or you can be loyal to the environmental lunatics, but you can't really be loyal to both.
Hey, Mayor
It's one or the
McCheese.
other, and they understand that. The Democrat Party has no idea what they're doing right now. They have no idea what to do. Crooked Joe is siding with the left-wing crazies who will destroy automobile manufacturing and will destroy our country itself. They're destroying our country. You look at that at the border. We had the safest border in history. Now you look at what's happening. It's just a horror show. I side with the auto workers of America and with those who want to make America great again, and I always will. And I don't get one thing. I don't get why Ford.
You know, I just have to say, you know what's safer than a car that uses combustible fuel? A car that doesn't use that, actually. Those are actually far safer.
Ford and GM, why these car makers aren't fighting to make cars that are going to sell, to make cars that are going to be able to go on long distances. They immediately give up. I see it with the oil companies, too. They're promoting windmills, which don't work, by the way, but they don't work. They want windmills.
Ah, yes, windmills. A technology we've used for literally 1,000 years. Famous for not working.
All over the place. It's like they're told what to do, and that's what they go against their industry.
Also, just as an FYI, electric vehicle car ranges have gotten so much better than they used to be. Like, there are electric vehicles on the market this year that can go over 500 miles on one charge. Like, goodness. Batteries can also combust, but I think maybe an engine that is, you know, running on a constant explosion is maybe a little bit more volatile.
They're either stupid or they're gutless. But why do they concede so fast? This plant, we just walked through this plant, and the electric vehicles are going to put them out of business. They don't need any of this. The things that you make in Michigan, they don't need any of it. Why is it that these big...
They still need the cars, Donald. They still need to, like, assemble the frames of the cars and, like, the seats and, like, the mirrors. They still have almost all of the same components, just not the engine components. And also, they still have engines. They just have a different kind of engine.
Powerful car companies with guys that are making $35 million a year immediately quit. They say, you want electric vehicles, we'll give it to you, when the damn things don't go far enough and they're too expensive. And I'm not in that business, but I know a lot about it. They don't go far enough and they're too expensive. A vote for Crooked Joe means the future of the auto industry will be made in China. That's what's going to be. That's where they're made.
Also, just as an FYI, right? With a 15-gallon tank at 30 miles per gallon, okay, you can go around 450 miles before needing to refuel, okay? We have electric vehicles that can go farther than that on one charge. Like, again, the idea that, oh, you can't go as far, well, you can, though.
My pledge to every automaker is this: a vote for President Trump means the future of the automobile will be...
Yeah, there's a car, like, called, like, the Lucid or something that can go 516 miles. I think, like, the latest model of, like, the Tesla S can go, like, 470-something miles. Yeah.
Made in America, where it should be. Made in America.
Hey, Chainsaw.
It will be fueled by American energy. It will be sourced by American suppliers.
Demand for electric cars is booming, with sales expected to leap 35% after a record-breaking 2022.
By highly skilled American hands and high-wage American...
But yes, it's Biden killing the auto industry by demanding electric vehicles. Hey, Run Trip Fall. I'm just finishing the VOD of the first debate. I'll catch up eventually. Run Trip Fall, I appreciate you going through the YouTube content we've been putting out lately. And also, by the way, if you are enjoying the stream, I do recommend the videos we've been putting out on YouTube lately, especially the latest one. The latest one we put out about how companies are coming for all of your money. It's a really, really good video, and I think you should all watch it if you haven't seen it yet.
American labor. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And we'll do it first day in office.
Thought I was safe in YouTube chat.
First
You're
day
never
in
safe.
office. It'll be signed out first day in office. What they're doing to our country is horrible. What they're doing to the auto workers of this country just doesn't make sense. I saved American auto manufacturing. You know that in my
I saved a merkin. I bet you did. You sly dog.
first term, and I'll save it again. We did great. We did everything to keep those jobs going.
This is
We
horse-drawn
saved it again in our
carriage
second
union.
Term. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's what we had to do because things happened during the election that you know about. Happened right here in this state also. And we will make it bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly, KBS. Like, most people don't need to drive hundreds of miles and can just, like, hook up their car when they get home at the end of the day, you know?
But we want to talk about it, but we talk and we keep talking, but we don't want to talk too much. But before we do talk about the current UAW strike that we've been hearing about, and I see people really with mixed emotions because you're striking for wages, but you know your job's only going to be here for 2 years or 3 years if you're lucky. How will we rescue the auto?
Oh, Salmon Moose, I can't wait to see Subaru's EV. It's going to be so good. Subaru builds, like, the most reliable cars on the market. I'm very gay for them, which is perfect because they're very gay for me.
Manufacturing in the United States. Let's remember, you got to remember how we got here. For decades and decades, and I've been talking about this subject for 12 years, long before I ever thought of becoming a politician. How good was that? That's a lot of fun. I could have had the easiest, nicest life, L. I would have had the nicest, softest life instead I have to beat these lunatics up all day long. Every day. Every day, lunatics. I never heard of the word indictment. Now I get indicted like every 3 days. He spoke badly about the election. He must be indicted.
What is he even saying? Again, like, 80% of what he says is just posturing and nonsense. You know, like, it's just to, like, virtue signal to his base. He's not saying really anything except, like, it's kind of actually pointless that you're striking, you know? Like, you'll never get anything that way because, you know, the companies are going to go under in 2 years. So you might as well not strike. And it's basically been that for, like, the last 5 minutes. I always feel weird as a leftist trans girl owning a Mustang with a V8. No, Cthulhu, you shouldn't feel weird about that. That's based and cool and honestly sexy car choice.
He said something bad about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the most corrupt president and most incompetent president we've ever had. Oh no. No, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get indicted again for saying that. For decades, you've watched rotten and crooked politicians like Biden treat American jobs as disposable and American workers as expendable. They sat back and got rich by taking bribes to let other countries rape and pillage our jobs and our wealth. That's what happened.
What does that mean, Donald? What do you think when you're saying, "Oh, other countries are raping our jobs"? What do you think he means? Like, what is he? Again, I don't think he actually means anything when he says these words. He's just stringing them together, you know? Like a child playing word association.
Joe Biden claims to be the most pro-union president in history. Nonsense. Think of it. His entire career, just think of it.
Bread into toast, that is a great emote. That is a perfect emote. I love it.
His entire career has been an act of economic treason.
Yeah, Cross-Crescent Creed. Chat unlocked a leather mommy jack. So, yeah. It's hard to kind of see the straps, but they're all there.
Treason and union destruction. He's destroyed unions, shipping millions of American jobs overseas while personally taking money from foreign nations hand over fist. Look at the money he got from China. Look at what's coming out.
China!
Crooked Joe backed NAFTA. He backed China's entry into the World Trade Organization. He backed the horrendous Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have imported thousands upon thousands of trans people to the United States. The American auto industry had I not stopped it. You remember when I stopped it? You guys were gone. You were gone. And that was a done deal. And in fact, during the debate, I got beautiful Hillary Clinton. I don't call her crooked because I only use that name for Biden now. So I call her beautiful. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful Hillary Clinton. To change her position on TPP, they were trying to pull a fast one on you, so she actually changed her position during the campaign, but she would have changed it back had that been a different result. But thank goodness it wasn't, because we made things and did things that nobody believed possible.
Like what? Like what? Citations needed. Just explain.
Nobody believed possible.
How many people are in the audience? Well, as usual for events like this, they have not shown the audience.
A gentleman named is Barack Hussein Obama. Have you ever heard of him?
Barack
And his
Hussein
Korean
Obama.
You've heard of him. Crooked Joe backed every single blood-sucking globalist attack on U.S. auto workers, and you've been attacked for a long time. Those attacks all stopped for 4 years with us, and they were getting so strong, and you were getting so strong, and they were building plants here again. Now the plants are going back to Mexico, and they're going back to China. And he's coming.
Okay, but you didn't move auto manufacturing plants from China or Mexico back to the United States. Claiming that you did is just a lie. No company moved manufacturing plants, things that cost billions of dollars sometimes to create, or at the very least hundreds of millions of dollars to create. They didn't just build one, have one built here, and then be like, oh, we're sending them overseas, and then build another one in China or Mexico, and then you came into office. They're like, okay, time to build it back in America. They did it again in America. But it felt like they did. Exactly. It's all vibes, okay? Trump is our first vibes-based president, okay? He's astrology for Republicans.
Coming back for more. I don't know that he's going to make it to the starting gate, but let's assume he does. If it's not him, it'll be somebody else with the same ideas, because that's the ideas they have. They're very destructive for our country. But we will stop him. Hopefully your leaders at United Auto Workers will endorse Donald Trump. Because, you know, standard history for years and decades and years, they always endorse a Democrat. It's almost like an automatic reflex, and there's no reason for it, but it's a habit. It's a bad habit. Hasn't worked because, look, you've lost 38% of your industry over the period of 25 years. Much of it's gone to Mexico. We don't talk about Mexico. Much of it's gone to Mexico. They make plants in Mexico. A friend of mine, a great supporter, but a great gentleman who builds plants. That's what he builds, auto plants. He said to me the other day, you got to see the plants we're building in Mexico. I said, well, how do they compare to the U.S.?
You got to see the plants we're building in Mexico. Donald walks outside, and there's just a ton of weed plants.
He said, not even a contest. And I said, isn't that a shame? You remember what I did? I said, you don't.
Was Obama astrology for Lib Dems? No, he was just not accurate, you know? Lib Dems thought Obama was going to be farther left than he was, and leftists thought Obama was genuinely bringing hope and change. And then they were sorely dismayed. The difference is that Trump made it through his entire presidency, and the Republicans just saw whatever they wanted embodied in Trump. You know, astrology. As opposed to Obama making it through his presidency and people just being like, okay, that was not what we wanted at all.
Give us protection at our border. I'm going to charge you a tariff of 25%. We want 28,000 soldiers on our border, and we had the safest border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world, by the way. After NAFTA, the United States lost nearly 4 million manufacturing jobs and almost 1 in 3 auto jobs. Joe Biden voted on that. He gave you that. Nearly 250,000 jobs were destroyed here in Michigan alone, including 40% of all auto jobs. Think of that. In fact, I had to check this number because it's inconceivable. You would think factories. 60,000 factories closed and went overseas. Can you imagine? 60,000? No, who would think that? When I first saw that number, I said, oh, somebody made a typographical error. Maybe it was 600 factories. Could have been 6,000, but that sounded too high. 60,000. And the good news is, if the number was wrong, the fake news will be checking it out. So I have to say, I have to give you the right numbers. Otherwise, the fake news is out there. Crooked Joe and his payday with the Biden family, they raked in millions and millions of dollars. You see what's going on. The news doesn't really report it. Very little news reports it. But it was the men and women who got, every single day, they got up and came back home with grease on their hands, and they were the ones that paid the price. They paid a big, big price. The only time Joe Biden has ever gotten his hands dirty is when he's taking cash from foreign countries, which is quite often, actually. It's quite often. Based on what we're seeing, it's much more often than anyone would have thought. But can you imagine an unannounced raid on his many homes? He would have made Senator Menendez look like a baby, just like a baby. Can you imagine? You know, they gave him 3 weeks' notice. You know, they said, we're going to raid your home over documents. They gave him 3 weeks. Would 3 weeks be enough?
Oh, you know, that reminds me. We do need to talk about the Menendez stuff, because that's honestly wild stuff. You know, the Menendez stuff, like, genuinely is a corruption thing. You know, like, like I think he was caught with like being paid for things in gold bars. I need to look more into it, but yeah, it's something we need to talk about.
So I can imagine. I'd like to see what he cleaned out of there. Joe Biden only cares about enriching his own family. I care about enriching your family. That's why I did this. That's why I did it.
Yeah, gold bars, cash, a BMW. Yeah, kind of like he just came off of like like a robbery or something. Jesus.
I'm working for you, not for me. That is for sure, and I always will. I will always have your back. I promise you that. I will always have your back. When I came into office, the auto industry was on its knees, gasping its last breaths after 8 long years of Obama and Biden. But you finally got a president who stood up to the... You got to understand, I stood up to people that hate you. They hate you. Or they maybe hate our country. But I stood up for you. I stood up for the auto workers and stood up for the great state of Michigan like nobody's ever stood up before. And just as I promised, I withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership my very first week. Do you remember 2016 when we won Michigan? Michigan hadn't been won in like decades. And everyone said, oh. And then we did much better in 2020. I mean, I hate to tell you, we did much better. But we're going to do so. We're going to swamp them. We're going to swamp them. We actually did much better, including in Michigan. I ended Obama's war on American energy. He had a war on American energy. Gasoline prices plummeted and soon reached $1.87 a gallon. How does that sound? Now, you know, it's over $5 and $6 and even $7 a gallon in some places, and it's going up higher and higher and higher. And I think they want that. That way you go all electric, so you can drive for 15 minutes before you have to get a charge. The economy boomed. The household incomes rose by more than $6,000 a year, which was a record. $6,000 a year during my term. A year. I ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the brand new USMCA, Mexico, Canada. That's the best trade deal ever made, they say.
But by the way, just as an FYI, the Trans-Pacific Partnership still happened. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but the Trans-Pacific Partnership still happened. part of the issue was that the United States was making demands of things to be added into the Trans-Pacific Partnership to benefit the United States. However, after the United States withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, it actually continued forward, just without the United States as a part of it. Because it was a deal between many different countries, not just the United States and a block of countries. So in 2018, it continued to be iterated on and became known as the Comprehensive and Progressive Amendment for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the CPTPP. So, basically, the CPTPP was exactly the same as the TPP. However, it omitted all of the things that the US had spent a long time advocating for being added to the TPP. So basically, it all got passed anyway, just without any of the benefits for the United States. So I don't know, but not ideal, maybe. Just the tip, indeed.
In our country's history, I think the deal we made with China is even better, but unfortunately with COVID, I don't even talk about that one. But we made a lot of good deals with Japan, with South Korea, with many, many countries. We took bad deals and made them good deals. They were so bad, I used to ask my people, who made these deals? Why did they do it? Who made them? They were so bad, just on their face. With the USMCA, 75% of every car under that deal must be made in North America. In other words, they have to make 75% of the car in North America. Who ever heard of that? And a massive portion must be made by high-wage labor, which means American labor, you're high wage. Back in 2008, Biden and Obama promised you that they'd renegotiate NAFTA, but in 8 years, they never lifted a finger. They never changed a thing. You know, NAFTA was so bad that when it was negotiated a long time ago, decades ago, they made typographical errors, like in numbers. And they were bad typographic. They were bad for us. Cost us. Nobody went back to change them. They were typographical errors, and we lived with it for decades with these errors. Can you imagine that? Normally, like, that happens. You do that in deals, too, and you go back the following day, say, they made a mistake. We're renegotiating this deal. I don't care if it's signed or not. And people sort of have to do that. Legally, they have to do that. If there's an error, if there's a typographic. They made typographical errors. They made errors. Maybe they weren't so typographical. Probably the other side made them imperfect, actually. You know, they probably made them. But they made these errors, and they never corrected them for years, for decades. But I corrected them. You know how I did it? By terminating it. Terminating the whole damn deal. And I know how good the USMCA deal is because Canada, as you know, and Mexico are trying like hell to renegotiate it. They want to renegotiate that deal. But in less than 2 years, I got that done, the USMCA and many other deals. I also renegotiated Obama's Korea trade deal to fully restore your protective tariff on foreign pickup trucks. They wanted to change it. The Democrats wanted it to expire, and so did South Korea badly. They didn't want it. And without that, you wouldn't even have a truck industry. Right now, it's probably the strongest part of your industry. Without that, you wouldn't have an industry. So it's something.
Why does he say words the way he does? Industry.
Something I was very proud to do. It was very, not easy, but we got it done, and we got it done properly.
Yeah, honestly, he's like spinning nonsense out of his butt. He did do things like withdraw from NAFTA. He did do things like scrap the TPP, right? But like, those weren't unilaterally good things. Like, the damage NAFTA did was already done. Like, pulling out of NAFTA didn't like rehire all of the workers who lost their jobs. You know, like scrapping the TPP didn't prevent the deal from going through. It just meant that the United States wasn't reaping any benefits from that trade deal. Like, these aren't great things.
Michigan jobs would have been exported.
He's a nonsense
While
spider.
millions
Yeah,
and
spinning
millions
his
of foreign
nonsense
cars
webs.
would have flooded American streets. That's what would have happened. Obama and Biden didn't care one bit, but I did, and I stopped it, and I stopped it cold. I took on communist China like no administration in history. No
He literally lost the economic trade war he started with China.
administration in history did what
We had to subsidize our own farmers because we basically fucked them so utterly and completely that they couldn't sell their product that was intended to be shipped to China.
I've done, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury when no other
I
president.
heard he was going to speak to non-union workers. So this is supposed to be he's speaking to current and former unionized workers. This was what he was doing instead of being at the GOP debate. But also someone said that there was a reporter on the scene and they confirmed that the people holding union signs weren't actually members of the union, you know?
President had gotten literally 10 cents. And I also got $28 billion for our great farmers. You know that, right? Our farmers. That's why I say, you think I'm going to do badly in Iowa or Nebraska, any of Wisconsin, any of our farm areas? I say, I don't want to be too cocky. I just got very good polls from all those, but from everywhere. Jesus, be cocky. That's okay. But who else would have done that? $28 billion. I said to the Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny Perdue, I said, Sonny, how bad have they treated us? $28 billion over a period of about 5 years. I said, they're going to pay it back. And they paid it back. They paid it back. And then perhaps my greatest unsung achievement, I kept Chinese cars the hell out of America. Is that okay with you?
There were already tariffs preventing that from happening. That wasn't an achievement of Donald Trump. That was just a thing that was already happening because America has protectionist policies for its auto industry. Like that's already a thing.
Is that okay? UAW, is that okay? And a lot of people don't know this, but I imposed a whopping 27.5% tariff and tax on all Chinese automobiles coming into our country. And this magnificent tariff, they can't get it off because they make so much money with it. And by the way, if they took it off, you'd be out of business right away. They want to take it off. They're trying to take it off, but it's so good, it's so powerful, it's so strong, but they would take over your industry totally. But it remains in place to this day, not because they wanted to, but because they sort of have no choice. And it's no exaggeration to state that the Trump presidency and the deftly used and applied Trump tariffs and taxes saved the American auto industry from extinction time and time again. And we're going to do a version of it that's going to make you bigger and better and stronger. It's not even going to be a contest with where you are right now.
KBS, are you still in chat? Do you have a link to the reporting that you mentioned earlier?
Now. But crooked Joe Biden is back like a wretched old vulture trying to finish off his prey. Can you believe it? I don't know. I just don't know. I see some of these things that are happening. I say, I wonder if he has any idea that this stuff is happening. Biden's job-killing EV mandate has dictated that nearly 70% of all cars sold in the United States must be fully electric less than 10 years from now. Do you believe that? These are built specifically for people that want to take very short trips, okay? Hop in the car, darling, let's drive down to the store and let's drive back. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. They say the happiest day when you buy an electric car is the first 10 minutes you're driving it. And then after that, panic sets in because you're worried, where the hell am I going to get a charge to keep this thing going?
Literally any charging station, as long as you're not in the middle of nowhere?
No. Panic. They get panicked. Despite colossal government subsidies, Ford alone is projecting to lose an astonishing $4.5 billion on electric vehicles. Why are they agreeing to this? That's what I don't understand. Why are they agreeing to it? Why does Ford and GM, why are they all agreeing to this? The cars aren't selling. They got them all over the place. You can buy them for peanuts. Why are they Why are they not fighting and saying it doesn't work? How about the trucks? The trucks go for like 1/5 of you take a power built or...
The trucks don't go as far. Therefore, we shouldn't save the planet. You'll have to stop and charge your battery more for cheaper than it is to fill your tank. Oh no!
One of the good brands, they go for just a small amount of time compared to a diesel-fired truck.
Wait, fun fact about the UAW, by the way, one of the chairmen was actually an open supporter of civil rights, Walter Reuther. Walter Reuther? That's cool. Good to know. Yeah, the UAW seems like a bunch of good beans.
Diesel-fired. You're not even allowed to say the word diesel-fired. Oh, that's bad for the environment. No, bad for the environment is having trucks all over the place that don't go. But on the electric vehicles this year, to comply with the mandate, is 60,000 loss.
Also, Cross Crescent Creed, I hope you're doing okay. Haven't seen you and Chad as often recently, and just been wondering where you been. But yeah, can anyone confirm that like people in the audience were actually union members or not? Like that, I've been hearing conflicting things.
They're going to lose $60,000 for every car produced. That sounds like a great deal. But honestly, for UAW and for auto workers and for everybody and for the country, it's not sustainable. So they may try and do it, and I don't know, they're trying to do something for the environment. By the way, that's worse for the environment than what we're talking about. Much worse.
Is it, though? It's not.
But think of it. They're going to lose $60,000 a car. So when are they going to come to you and say, listen, we can't do this anymore? They're going to come to your head man, Sean. I've been watching him on television. He's a good man. I think he's a good man. But he's got to... Actually, he's got to...
Oh, interesting. Okay. Donald Trump here is speaking at a non-union parts plant. So basically, this particular plant is not staffed with union workers. And there is also a non-zero chance that their boss is forcing them to be here in order to pad out the audience and make Trump look good. This is coming from Twitter account here. Pende Joe, USPS veteran here, who says it reminds him of the time coal miners in Ohio were forced to listen to Romney by coal boss Robert Murray. Which, yeah, this is a thing that happens, by the way. Bosses will force their workers to attend rallies like this.
Who endorse Trump? This, you know, the one thing I say about a politician. I've known politicians over my life, and then if you would have told me I was going to be a politician someday, I would have said, no way, I don't want to be a politician. But the one thing I know is when you go out and you come out with an idea early, and then you in an election, and you sort of lose that idea,
I'm sorry.
you always come back to that idea. So these...
If you need any support, just know that this community's here for you, okay?
People are into the electric thing. They may soften it up a little bit during the election. They're coming back, and they're coming back stronger than ever. It's like Ron DeSanctimonious. You know, he tried to destroy Social Security. Now he's trying to backpedal it a little bit. He wanted to bring the minimum age to 70. He wanted to destroy it. He also put a heavy hit on Medicare. What happens is now they back up a little bit, but they always go back to it as soon as the election's over. So you can't go for that. And in the case of Biden, he's coming back to electric vehicles. Now he hasn't even left yet. So we're talking about, you know... But yeah, maybe someday soon he's going to leave because he wants to get more votes. But
here we go. Finding some more elements to this. Here's Sean Fain calling the Trump's rally to UAW members at non-union plant blasted by Sean Fain as pathetic irony. Amazing. We have
on the heels of President Biden's historic visit to the UAW picket lines yesterday, former President Donald Trump is making...
Okay, wait. Do we have the clip of Sean Fain saying pathetic irony? Because I want to see.
Fox News' Dave Kinchin has been following the talks for weeks now, and he's live with more tonight. Dave.
Nope. Okay. He's likely to get an icy reception from UAW leadership as well. The union president spoke with the national cable news Tuesday night, calling it pathetic irony that Trump would hold a rally for union members at a non-union business. In a statement after Biden's visit to Belleville Tuesday, he called the move nothing more than a PR stunt meant to distract and gaslight citizens from his administration. Excellent. Sean Fain, I trust him. Yeah, Sean Fain went on to say, all you have to do is look at his track record. For 2 months, they were on the picket lines. I didn't see Trump hold a rally. And he's talking about a 2019 strike on General Motors. For 2 months, they were on the picket lines. I didn't see Trump hold a rally. I didn't see him stand on the picket lines. I sure as hell didn't see him comment on it. He was missing in action. Okay, awesome. Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah. So when he's berating Biden for only showing up and saying a little bit on the picket line for UAW workers, Donald Trump had the opportunity in 2019 and he didn't do shit. So, yeah. That's why those workers should support unions. I'd have already walked out. 100%, Mr. Anderson. Like, I hope the UAW is able to use this as leverage to unionize this plant, because these workers deserve better too. They shouldn't be held captive like this to this lying asshole.
Just remember, he's coming back. They always go back to their original thought. That's where they are. I don't know why, but that's where they are. Biden's mandate isn't a government regulation. It's a government assassination of your jobs and of your...
Oh, just as an FYI, interestingly, Joe Biden put out, the Biden-Harris campaign put this out a couple days ago.
He says he stands with auto workers, but as president, Donald Trump passed tax breaks for his rich friends while automakers shuttered their plants and Michigan lost manufacturing jobs. Joe Biden said he'd stand up for workers, and he's delivering, passing laws that are increasing wages and creating good-paying jobs. Manufacturing is coming back to Michigan because Joe Biden doesn't just talk, he delivers.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Like, God, oh God, I mean, honestly, that just is accurate, you know? Like, he showed up. He showed up. He told those workers, you deserve more than a 40% wage increase. Let's go.
Your industry, the auto industry, is being assassinated.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump is over here. Oh, the industry is gonna die if they pay you more wages. Oh, it'll all die. Trust me, I'm a guy whose personal home literally has a golden toilet for me to shit on. Trust me, I have the workers' best interests at heart.
And it makes no difference what you get. I don't care what you get in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 5
Yeah, electric.
weeks. They're going to be closing up.
Good catch there by Joe. Yeah, he was driving around in an electric golf cart on his golf courses all the time.
And they're going to be building those cars in China and other places. It's a hit job on Michigan.
I love
and
the Rational
on Detroit,
National.
And that's not sustainable. These numbers are not sustainable. No company can afford to lose $60,000 a car. It's going to be more than that. All of these cars will be manufactured in foreign lands.
Oh, we found it.
Care less about.
We got the quote. Let's check out the quote. Thanks, Mediaite. Oh, we got to load an ad. No, thank you, Mediaite. One day more, another day, another destiny, never-ending road to Calvary. One day, the ad will load. Wait. Oh my God, it was so loud. I just want to, why do you have a mute button if I can't press it? God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Mediaite. Why is it like this? I can't even Press play. No, you know what? No, it's not worth it. Not worth it. Abort. 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 Oh God. Oh God. And oh God. Okay.
I want
Fine.
choice in schools and in the purchase of an automobile, an SUV or a truck. I want choice for my automobile, for my truck, for my SUV. And I also happen to want choice for schools. Do we agree with that choice? This is about auto workers and automobiles and workers, period. But I think we can say that everybody wants to see choice in schools also. If you want to buy an electric car, that's absolutely fine. I'm all for it. But we should not be forcing consumers to buy electric vehicles. They want to buy all...
Well, we're not forcing consumers to buy anything. We are just influencing the market conditions so that we can, you know, not die. So we don't have to force everyone to get electric cars in the long term. Oh God, this is so frustrating.
Trucks, they want to make all trucks electric. You know that, right? They're going to destroy, you talk about supply chain, they're going to destroy the supply chain. They're forcing the truckers to go all electric trucks. Now the trucks probably don't have the power. They only go about 300 miles, whereas a diesel fuel truck goes 2,000 miles. That's a big difference, would you say?
So, it's really interesting to me that he said they probably don't have the power. Because if you're going to say something like that, you should probably know if they have the power or not. And secondly, just out of curiosity, I'm just gonna do a little range of electric trucks. Let's see here. Do you think he's talking about semis or just trucks? Because right now, the longest range truck is 350 miles. So, I mean, I guess that's less than like 1,000 or whatever he said. But also, how many of the people buying these like pickup trucks are driving 1,000 miles? You know? Second of all, if you're talking about semis, like electric semi-trucks. Range. Okay, yeah, electric semis right now have about a range of about 500 miles. Oh, interesting. Some of the electric semis that are coming onto the market have 3 times the power of a diesel semi-truck. So, and they have a range of 500 miles, and also, you know, there are faster ways to charge them. No power. Aren't most modern trains run by electric motors with diesel generators? Electric motors have a crap ton of torque. Yeah, exactly, Jammer CZ. And Forlorn79, yeah, a diesel semi-truck can have a range of 2,000 miles. That is true. At 60 miles per hour, you'd have to drive for over 30 hours to get that kind of range. Well, yeah, and that's why the trucking industry needs better regulations. But also, like, honestly, like, battery ranges are going to get farther and farther. And 500 miles is plenty. And it gives drivers a chance to rest, which they need, you know? I don't know. I think a 500-mile range for a semi is totally fine.
Also, the battery takes up so much room. There's practically No room left for what you happen to be shipping. The whole thing is crazy.
What are you talking about? They're shipping it in the truck. You maroon? They're shipping it in the back end that the semi truck is pulling. They don't put the battery in like the cargo container. What are you talking about?
They want to do they want to do it with boats too. I was with a boating manufacturer.
Damn, Paladin, that is a very specific fact. 7 out of 10 truck routes are less than 500 miles. Perfect. Also, look at this. We got the clip. Thank you, Paladin.
Former President Trump will travel to Michigan tomorrow to give a speech to auto workers in Detroit. Many of your members are supporters of his. He wrote this on his social media just ahead of President Biden's visit there today.
Oh, Wolf Blitzer.
This is from Trump. Joe Biden's draconian and indefensible electric vehicle mandate will annihilate the U.S. auto industry and cost countless thousands of auto workers their jobs. Is the former president right? Does the push for electric vehicles here in the United States hurt your union?
It doesn't if it's a just transition, and that's what we're fighting for right now. It doesn't if the companies do the right thing and put this work under, our agreements or to our standards. And again, it's the companies driving this race to the bottom, and they're using our tax dollars to finance it. And, I find a pathetic irony that the former president is going to hold a rally.
Hey, Sleep Queen,
for
how you
union
doing?
members at a non-union business. And, all you have to do is look at his track record. His track record speaks for itself. In 2008, during the Great Recession, he blamed UAW members.
I could listen to Sean Fain wreck chumps all day. He's so good at it.
He blamed our contracts for everything that was wrong with these companies. That's a complete lie. In 2015, when he was running for president, he talked about doing a rotation, taking all these good paying jobs in the Midwest and moving them somewhere in the South where people work for less money, and then to make people beg for their jobs back at lower wages. And the ultimate show of how much he cares about our workers was in 2019, when he was the president of the United States. Where was he then? Our workers at GM were on strike for 60 days, for 2 months. They were out there on the picket lines. I didn't see him hold a rally. I didn't see him stand up at the picket line, and I sure as hell didn't hear him comment about it.
So here's the
He was
question.
missing in action.
Here's the question to President. What about the meeting with Trump? Would you meet with him when he's in Detroit tomorrow?
God, like Sean Fain, Sean Fain is Gen X, the one good one. I'm doing all right, Sleep Queen. Chat unlocked my leather mommy form, so I'm wearing like a leather harness outfit underneath my, Thank you, Sleep. I am still wearing sweatpants though, so that kind of ruins the aesthetic, but I'd wear different pants if I wasn't on stream. Come on now, I'm Gen X. I'm sorry, X'd out. There are a few good ones out there, but a lot of people in Gen X were really apathetic about like politics. Or that might be me projecting because that's my brother in a nutshell. All baddies wear sweats on stream. True. I like the collar and leash ring. I like it too. It awakens things in me. Yes, you're projecting. Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize to Gen Xers. My bad. Apathetic as in, like, don't give a shit? Yeah. That was always my impression. But if I have Gen Xers in my community, that must mean my impression is inaccurate. Now, that's true. Hard to get anything done when your generation is overshadowed by the sheer volume of boomers. True. And honestly, we do have a number of boomers in our community that are like amazing. So I also don't like shitting on boomers. I shouldn't shit on Gen X. I'm sorry. Jack showing off that bottom energy, you betcha.
I see no point in meeting with him because I don't think the man has any bit of care about what our workers stand for, what the working class stands for. He serves a billionaire class, and that's what's wrong with this country.
Well, that effectively sounds as an endorsement for Biden. Am I wrong?
It's not an endorsement for anyone. It's just a flat out
Flat out fact.
I view the former president.
Get his ass, dude. Yeah, I think honestly, like, Gen X, like, kind of, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, kind of earned the apathy, right? Probably, like, kind of earned, like, the irony poisoning. Like, the ability to do things weighted down by the baby boomers, probably very minuscule, you know? And then when, like, the boomers are basically messaging, oh, it's the end of history, it's the end of history, it's the end of history, like, is there any real surprise that, like, Gen Xers would feel apathetic? Is that's the entire messaging being sent to their generation? Okay, I get it. I'm sorry. Thought through that. Makes a lot of sense. The name like Sean Fain, I always expect him to sound like Gary Adams. Has Mason talked to you at all recently? Not recently, Sleep Queen. Is he doing all right? We're still weighted down by baby boomers? True. I grew up partly in Northern California. My dad used to take me to Berkeley with him to go record shopping. A lot of cool goth and alternative kids who hung out on Telegraph Ave, and I thought they looked so cool. They're Gen Xers. I thought they were so cool. I wonder what they're doing now. Just some cursed shit has happened? Like, how cursed are we talking? What is Gen X? The generation of people before millennials. I always think Sean Fain. Yeah. Same vocal sound, basically, but different spelling. Cursed as in someone who shouldn't have a YouTube channel has one? No, dude. Oh, shit. Is it small? God, I hope it's small. I've talked to Mason a few times. I love Mason. Mason's one of my favorite. I get so behind on lingo. It's okay. Oh, God. How the fucking audacity. The fucking audacity of that clown to make a YouTube channel. What's going on? Who shouldn't have a YouTube channel? I'm lost about the channel thing. When I started streaming initially, chat, I, like, maybe a year into my streaming, like, encountered a guy who was streaming leftist content, named Ruel James, and without going too much into it, we kind of became like we became friends and like hung out and stuff online, and then like he got accused credibly by like 17 women in like the Canadian like rock scene that he was in of like sexual assault, and like just disappeared off the face of the earth, and apparently now he has a YouTube channel. God, the audacity of that fucker. Yeah, there was a lot. I don't remember the exact number of Valhalla Vidya, but it was a lot. Like an overwhelming, shocking number. That was the second stream I watched from you. The first was you playing Shadow of the Colossus. Oh, shit. Okay, Sleep Queen confirms it was over 20 accusations. Yeah. Yeah, it was shocking. Gross. Yeah, it's like a yikes. Absolutely. Does Mason know? I think that there was also like an ongoing like court case, but I lost track of that. I don't know if anything ever came of it. Yeah, no worries, Sleep Queen. Of course, of course. Were there charges? I believe there were legal charges brought, but I don't remember if anything happened. I have no clue about any of the court shit. Okay. Yeah, me neither. Oh, boy. Who was this? Guy named Ruel James. Yeah, also some of them were underage girls. Yeah, it was really fucking bad, chat. Like really fucking bad. Is too stressful to be a part of. Yeah, understandable, Sleep. That it was really shocking and disturbing, and yeah, maybe we can play games offline sometime. I haven't had a ton of free time lately because I'm between work and just like work and life stuff. But just DM me whenever. Okay, we'll do. Yikes is underselling it. It was really especially shocking. And also, earlier when I mentioned how I don't like tend to get super close to other people in the streaming space anymore, that would be one of the primary reasons why, chat. Yeah, I thought he was really cool. And that impression did not hold up. Are you going to Vegas for TwitchCon? I wasn't planning on it. Mostly because I'm not great with money at the moment, but hopefully I'm hoping to go to TwitchCon next year. You and Mason are going to be there. Damn it. Are you guys going to be there next year too? Cuz that'd be really fun to meet you guys in person. I'm not sure about next year. Damn it. But we'll figure it out. I'm sorry. Well, thanks for letting me know, Sleep. I would not have liked to have found out about that just like randomly. That would have been shocking. Sorry to kill the moon. No. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you. All right, we are going to finish this Donald Trump segment though, chat. Don't you go anywhere. We're about halfway through. I believe in us.
A great state, South Carolina, with a great governor, by the way, Henry McMaster. And we were there 2 days ago, and I asked him that question. I said, do they want? He said, yeah, they want us to go all electric. I said, how does that work for a boat? He said, the entire boat would be like one big battery, would have no, we'd have no room for anything else. I said, what happens if the boat has an accident, starts sinking? Do you get electrocuted if the boat sinks? Guys,
does he not know that normal boats have batteries in them? Normal boats right now have batteries in them. Come on.
I said, you know, I've never thought of that, actually, but I think I gave him an idea, actually. Now, can
You gave him the idea of electrocuting people when boats sink?
you imagine the boat goes down and you're sitting on top of a battery? I don't feel good about that, right?
Yeah, Trump has never been on a riverboat. He doesn't know
In
the
other
salt
words,
spray
you
of
have
the
to
sea.
stop approximately for a truck 6 times for the same trip. How are they going to stop 6 times? And yet it's not stopping these lunatics in Washington. These are lunatics.
Oh yeah, Paladin. He would come on my stream and we would like chat for like hours. Like it was, and we played games together with Mason. Yeah.
These are deranged people. And I'm not
Mason
saying
the Robin.
you can't buy an electric car. If you want to buy an electric car or a hybrid or an all-gasoline car or a truck, that has to be your choice. You should have that choice. It's great, right? I could see electric cars working great for certain uses, short-term, short-distance uses. We have unlimited gasoline. Remember that. We have unlimited. China doesn't. We have unlimited gasoline. For 500 years, we have gasoline more
Oh damn, that's crazy. Then why are the prices going up?
than any other country in the world. Can you imagine? A few years ago, we were energy
Gasoline, unlimited, infinite gasoline.
independent. Now we're begging countries to give us gasoline. Can you imagine? No, can you even imagine? And we had the best, the lightest, the sweetest. We have the best stuff. Now we're getting it. We're taking tar. Tar. You know what tar is? It's
The lightest, the sweetest gasoline. What?
like tar that they have to refine. You know where they refine it? In Houston, Texas. We take tar now from Venezuela. Venezuela was supposed to be the bad guys. Venezuela's getting rich. We're refining their tar. And we're not taking our beautiful, beautiful stuff. We have the best stuff, but we have the most. We have more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. We were energy independent, and we were going to make our fortune, and we were going to sell it to Europe. We were going to pay off our debt. We were going to lower taxes still further. It's amazing. And then these people came in, and they have no clue, or they have a clue, which is even more dangerous in a certain way. Right now, electric cars don't go far enough, and they're just far, far too expensive, and people aren't going to be able to afford them. And the cost of operation is also much more. This is their option, though, if they want them. It's their option, and it's an option that some people will take, and I am all for them, but I will not allow, under any circumstances, the American automobile industry to die. I want it to thrive and to thrive.
Then why are you talking about how they're not going to have jobs in 2 years? That would... Why are you talking about how all these factories are going to close in 2 years if you're not going to allow the automobile industry to die? Then they can strike for better wages, and you won't allow the industry to die. Excellent. Why did you spend like 20 minutes talking about how they weren't going to have jobs? Oh God. That said, I'm hopeful that we may be able to get large enough voters of new left-leaning voters out there in 24. Yeah, 100%, Steve and X'd out. We had some success in 20, but COVID put a real damper on everything. Honestly, Steve, like I've been in political organizing for the last few years now, and I think we're going to have even better success. We've done some preliminary stuff with organizing online voters, in online like volunteers to get real world voters out there, and the success has been incredible. Like unironically, this community organizing and like working together with other communities in 2020 helped to get John Fetterman elected. Like I say that without like, I'm not embellishing anything. Like the amount of canvassing and like both phone and on the ground that this community did, like made the difference between the number of votes that were necessary for John Fetterman to get elected. What are your pronouns? She, her. Thank you for asking. Trump is a victim. He grew up in New York City and sniffed so much beautiful sweet lead gasoline. Can I she them titties? Milk collector. That was actually pretty clever. I enjoyed that one. Thank you. Can I she them titties? That was a 10 out of 10. Well done.
Thrive like never before. So we're here today at Drake Enterprises, a family-owned, beautiful place. They gave me a tour. I said, this place is beautiful. I said, come on, let's go. I got to go fast. I got to make a speech. It's all over television, this speech. You know, we're competing with the job candidates. They're all running for a job. No, they're all job candidates. They want to be in the, they'll do anything. Secretary of something. They even say VP. I don't know. Does anybody see any VP in the group? I don't think so. No, that's, can you imagine? They don't have a crowd like we have. When you look at the thousands of people outside that couldn't get in, why didn't you build a bigger plant? I'd like to. But
citation needed. Interesting how the cameras don't pan.
We're here today at Drake Enterprises, a family-owned and operated Michigan auto parts supplier.
A non-union auto parts supplier
that has been manufacturing in America for over 70 years, right? Drake was founded by a great man in 1952, Benny Stempel, right? Benny, we love Benny. Your father, your grandfather, an American man, he deceased, American man with a big...
Well, Cross Crescent Creed, if they used 3 flags, you might forget which country he's in.
Big American dream. He had a big, beautiful dream. Benny started with just 4 people and soon came to dominate the production of gear shift levers for trucks. Today, the company produces transmission components, driveline components, engine components, and car parts for every one of the Detroit Big 3. So I won't tell them I've said bad things about them in your place, okay? I just want them to fight for what's right. It's common sense. But tonight I was honored to...
I just want people to know that, like, organizing is what makes us powerful. You know, like, by ourselves, we actually have more power than they want us to know we have. And when we work together, we can actually affect change. You know, when we work together to phone bank and text bank and go door to door, like, it actually moves the needle meaningfully.
To meet Benny's son Lee and Lee's children Nate and Heather. Thank you very much.
Hey, Crow Girl.
That's great. Beautiful family.
Thanks for making the
Nate
jump over
and
to Riverboat.
Heather say
GG.
their vision for this company is to prove that the American dream is still alive for their employees, like it was just for their granddad, who was so wonderful. So Lee, Nate, and Heather, we're going to help you get that job done, okay? And I want to congratulate you on 3 generations of American auto parts, proudly made in Michigan. We love Michigan. Great feeling for Michigan. Bad things are happening in Michigan. Your crime rate's through the roof. You got a lot of businesses moving out now. It's unbelievable. Not even believable. Today, nearly 100% of Drake's business is producing components that go into vehicles with internal combustion engines, the very product that Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats and fascists, Marxists, now they want to make them, for whatever reason, illegal. Figure that one out.
What? the amount of just dissonance in the things he says.
And yes, it's true. Today's radical Democrat Party wants to legalize drugs, shoplifting, and sexual mutilation of your children, but they want to allow...
Ah, yes. Shoplifting. Legalizing shoplifting. I think that was number 2, the number 2 part of Biden's platform in 2024. Just really, we're all about theft, really. The idea that, like, shoplifting is just not a crime in places like San Francisco has been such a pernicious lie that it's wild. It's just wild, right? Like, you'll have people on the left now talking about, oh, these stores are closing because of all the shoplifting. And, like, Target now is closing 9 locations and saying, oh, it's because of the organized retail theft that's afflicting our stores. And it's just like...
Really very sorry that it's hard to trust people on the online left, Jack.
Oh, Kyryu, thank you very much for gifting a sub to Crow Girl. And yeah, it is hard to trust people in the online left, but like, I don't know. I trust people in my community, you know, if that makes sense. Like the people you guys who show up and you talk to me and I get to know you guys, you know, at least a little bit over time. I trust a lot of you guys. But Target's blaming organized retail theft for the closure of 9 of its stores, and it's just like, at this point, okay, well, let's wait until they actually talk to their investors during their next, you know, quarterly meeting, because that's the only time they actually tell the truth. You know, you saw that shoplifting panel then? What shoplifting panel, Vala Vidya? I didn't see the panel. I just remember everyone making a stink about Walgreens closing locations because of all the theft and the unprosecuted and unpunished theft that was plaguing its locations. And then, like, Walgreens came out in their investor meeting and straight up said, actually, we overreacted, and there was actually less theft in our stores than there was the year prior. And, you know, like, it was just, it just wound up being, like, they lied. That was their thing. They just lied about what happened. It's not that the theft was overwhelming, it's that they lied about why they were closing the store. They're stealing beans and using them to fund terrorism. Yeah. And by the way, not to say that organized retail theft isn't bad. It is bad. But it's a symptom of a larger sociological issue that isn't solved by just, like, throwing these people in jail. President Sunday was on a panel on Wix channel about shoplifting. Letterboxd kept conflating organized retail theft with shoplifting. Cool. Though, to be fair, like, organized retail theft has been on the uptick in recent years, and that's bad. And indicates the existence of organized crime as opposed to sporadic shoplifting. And that needs, like, organized crime needs to be tamped down on. But again, the reason people shoplift and the reason people participate in organized retail theft tend to be along similar lines. It's the need to, like, be able to exist, and it's just paying better to do these things than to not do them, you know? Does that make sense? Really weird how corporations keep closing stores where workers are unionizing. Right, Daphne? Right? Oh, it's, you know, Starbucks just happened to close some of its locations that were unionizing. You know, just happened to. It was really in the cards for a while now. Republicans seem to use non sequiturs for just about every issue. Yeah, not Mr. Anderson. Like, it's just... a lot of Republican rhetoric relies on implication without actually making a coherent point. Because if you make a coherent point, that point can be attacked. The implication can be denied. There's an element of plausible deniability there, where you can be like, oh, I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. You're just projecting your own ideas onto that. You know? Time to open worker co-ops instead. Unironically, yeah. I got interested and then I got over Loanerbox so fucking quick. I've only seen a little bit of Loanerbox. I think he's done some good stuff, but I'm not like... He's fine, I guess. Yeah, I didn't like his performance in that debate he had against Poly People, which... now, having become more familiar with Poly People's content, like, is probably the only debate Poly People has ever done well in. Or at least had a point worth defending. I don't know. I don't watch a ton of her content. Okay, come on, we can do it. We can do it, chat. I promise we can. I know it's hard. Oh, God.
Allow your gas-powered Suburban, Silverados, and Ford F-150s to die. They can die. under a Trump administration, gasoline engines will be allowed.
That Biden isn't outlawing gasoline engine cars. What are you talking about?
And sex changes for children will be banned. Is that okay? I think we have it.
Well, that's fine because children aren't getting sex change operations. No children are getting sex change operations. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Children can't get bottom surgery? Ooh. Dude.
Can you believe it? Mutilization. You know, if you said 10 years ago, 15 years.
I want so badly for a reporter to ask him about circumcision. I want so badly for a reporter to like shout out a question about circumcision. I want to see him squirm about circumcision. Because you know he has no answer prepared for that. I just got here. Why is he saying this to auto workers? A gay elephant, honestly, I have no idea. He spent the first 20 minutes talking about how auto workers shouldn't be on strike because if they get better pay, the auto industry is going to collapse in 2 years. And then just started talking about things he did 4 years ago that maybe helped auto workers, and then started talking about how he would never let the auto industry die and how electric vehicles are going to kill the auto industry because they're weak, and if they fall in water they'll electrocute people. It's all incoherent nonsense, and somehow he has now spiraled into arguing that, or saying that he's going to ban all sex change operations for children, which isn't the thing that happens. So, like, I'm very confused too. You're just as confused as the rest of us. Also, he's at an ununionized auto worker, or he's at an ununionized auto parts plant. And the people in the audience are not members of the UAW. So, you know, there's a lot of things happening here.
Years ago, we will stop the mutilization of children. Somebody would say, what the hell is he talking about? Today, you have to say it because that's what they're doing. Mutilization of children.
Is it, though? Citation needed.
Without parent consent. The whole thing is insane.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. We have to go back.
Mutilization of children without parent consent.
Okay, wait. So mutilating children is bad if you don't have parental consent. Okay, so his argument is that there are trans kids who are being operated on without the knowledge of their parents. Like, they just show up at the gender clinic and are like, they flop their dick out and they're like, hello, I would like one sex change, please. And then the doctor's just like, okay, let me get the rusty saw, time to do the sex change. And like that, they like spend 5 minutes with sawing sounds in the background and they come out like a lady. Like, what? This isn't a thing that happens. That isn't a situation. This is like a cartoon understanding. Yeah, time to get out the penis guillotine. Mutilization. No. YouTube. Mutilization. It's a brilliant new word. It really summarizes the situation. Guys, he can't say mutilation because that would mean it's real. He had to invent the fake word for it.
The whole thing is insane. The country has gone insane. You know, a lot of it, they say, you're very conservative. I say, no, I'm a person of common sense. It's not conservative. It's common sense. We want to have a border. We want to have good voting. We want to have same-day voting with all paper ballots. And
Mutilization sounds like an excellent heavy metal band name. I do hope somebody coins that.
We want to have a thing called voter ID. Why do the Democrats not want voter ID? Because they want to cheat.
Well, no, it's because voter ID has been shown to disenfranchise African American voters and Latino voters. That's why. And frankly, the only reason it's being pushed for is because the American Legislative Executive Council, a conglomeration of corporations, realized back in the late 90s that by requiring voter ID, they could disenfranchise black and brown voters. And they started lobbying Republicans to take that up as a core issue. Specifically, this was pushed for in the American Legislative Executive Council by the private prison industry. So that's why Democrats don't generally want voter ID laws, because it seeks to address a problem that doesn't really exist, and also really the only reason it's being pushed for is to disenfranchise voters. So that'd be why.
We want to have voter ID. But if crooked Joe Biden gets his way, Drake employees and countless other auto workers and suppliers will really be decimated. I don't know. I hate to tell you what's going to happen, but you know what's going to happen. We're going to stop it. By most estimates, under Biden's electric vehicle mandate, 40% of all U.S. auto jobs will disappear. Think of this, in 1 or 2 years.
It's okay if the voter ID is free and is sent to you. You know, again, even if the voter ID is free, requiring people to make the trip creates a barrier. You know, like there are new, like, the more barriers there are between someone and voting, the more people are not going to vote.
I think 1 or 2 years, that's what you have to be talking about, not you're going to get X dollars an hour. It doesn't matter what the hell you're getting an hour. Do me a favor, just get your union guys, your leaders, to endorse me.
Again, it's really funny hearing him say this after we know that Sean Fain, prior to this appearance, came out and said, nah, this is a non-union factory that he's talking at, and also it's pathetic and we hate him. You know, like, this is so fucking funny, dude. Mutilization is my trans ally Alice Cooper cover band. But, like, no, like, for real though, he's not getting the union vote here. He's just what he's trying to do is posture for, like, you know, the poor rural working white class. You know, he's posturing for them because he knows that they're not going to go out and find out that Sean Fain of the UAW denounced him. He knows that his voters aren't going to find out that he's at a non-union plant. All they're going to hear is that he showed up to talk to UAW workers, and that's going to be enough for them. He believes he can dupe his voting base into voting for him again, and unfortunately, he's right. He's still mad he lost Michigan. Oh, every day. Every day.
Okay? And I'll take care of the rest. Because in looking over the statistics now, they're saying, but the real number will be 100%. Because under Biden's mandate, the entire car industry will be packed up and shipped to China, which controls over 80% of the supply chain for electric vehicle batteries. They control the whole thing. So they think close to 100%.
We also make electric batteries in the United States? We in the United States, literally, we just discovered one of the largest reserves of lithium on the planet. Sorry, did I say one of? I meant the largest, as in, if you combined all of the other lithium reserves on the planet and combined them, we have a reserve in the United States that's larger than all of them. So, the idea that, oh, China's gonna outproduce us, well, let's just build battery manufacturing plants in the US, at least until we have like better battery tech that relies on like I don't know, sodium ion instead of lithium ion.
Percent of the business will be gone. Every time Joe Biden and the UAW's political leadership talk about a fair transition to all electric cars, American labor will be under siege. It's not going to work for you. It can't work. And I learned a lot today with this great family. I tell you, they said, you know, it just won't work. They don't need any.
I learned a lot today with this great family that I talked to, and they said it won't work, and that was very convincing to me.
Anything that you have right here in Michigan, and they have beautiful product. There's no such thing as a fair transition to the end of your way of life. You're going to lose your beautiful way of life. For auto workers, Biden's forced transition is a transition to hell. It's a transition to hell. It's a transition to unemployment and to inflation without end. The inflation that you have now, we didn't have inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. You know that because you went 4 years like you've never had in your history, in the history of Michigan. To the striking workers, I support you in your goal of fair wages and greater stability, and I truly hope you get a fair deal for yourselves and your families. But if your union leaders will not demand that Crooked Joe repeal his electric vehicle mandate immediately, then it doesn't matter what hourly wage you get. It just doesn't make a damn bit of difference because in 2 to 3 years...
He keeps saying this. He keeps saying this after now he pledged to never let the auto industry die. He pledged to never let it die, and now he's going back to, oh, you know, in 2 to 3 years, the entire auto industry is gonna be gone. Like, what are you talking about, dude? God. The U.S. Department of Energy today announced $3.1 billion in funding from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law to make more batteries and components in America, bolster domestic supply chains, create good-paying jobs, help lower the costs for families. Energy Department. Honestly, one of Joe Biden's abiding legacies is going to be like the CHIPS Act and like the infrastructure bill. Like, a bunch of things got cut from the infrastructure bill, but it's still going to be like one of the things that history remembers him for.
You will not have one job in this state. And you've seen it happen before. You've seen what happened where massive percentages of your industry went to other countries like Mexico, like China, like South Korea, like Japan. In other words, your current negotiations don't mean as much as you think. I mean, I watch you out there with the pickets, but I don't think you're picketing for the right thing. But if they endorse me, your leadership, you can tell them I said it, although I have a feeling they may be watching tonight. Because, you know, when Biden came here yesterday, they only had 11 people. I'll bet you we have 10,000 people standing outside. Right? I think we do. That's... In fact, for a little while, we're driving through, the people are going crazy. I said, is this a rally tonight?
God, it's gonna feel so good when he goes to prison. It's gonna feel so good when he goes to prison. Oh my goodness, dude.
No, but I said, is this a rally? We're driving to thousands.
Good night, Valhalla Vidya. Good night, Drago.
We just put it online. Incredible. The great Dan Scavino put it online. Where's Dan Scavino? The great Dan Scavino. He gets everything. He sees what's going on. Thank you, Dan. Where is he? One of the greats of all time, most powerful men in politics. He controls the internet. The great Dan Scavino. Get over here for the cameras, Dan. Get over there. Stephen Chung has done incredible. Jason Miller, a legend. Jason.
Oh God, I honestly, I wish ill on very few people But I hope Jason Miller stubs his toe every day for the rest of his life. Very badly. You know, like, Jason Miller is like an actual white supremacist. And he's just being allowed to shape, like, Republican doctrine at one of the highest levels in the country. Are any of these GOP candidates pro-union or pretending to be? No, none of these, like, Trump is trying to position himself here as someone who seems pro-union, but is actually not, you know? But no, no GOP candidate is in support of unions. Though, I take that back. There is one union the GOP will support, and it's the police unions, okay? The GOP supports every single police union, and that's just a fact, because police unions shouldn't exist. I think you remember a different Miller? No, Stephen Miller, right? Stephen Miller, this guy? This guy right here? No, he's like a straight up neo-Nazi, dude. Yeah, Stephen Miller. Stephen. He said Jason? Oh. My bad. My bad. Wait, what is Stephen Miller up to these days? Oh, excellent. Excellent. The last entry on his Wikipedia is that he's being embroiled in legal troubles due to January 6th. Awesome. Fuck Stephen Miller.
Oh, somebody likes you, both of you, Jason. Now I have a great group of people. They all want to come. I said, you guys don't have to come. They said, no.
They all want to come. You don't have to come. But we all want to come.
We want to come. They want to come. And
Jesus.
They don't want to come to keep me from falling either. They want to come for...
Can we get an audio clip of just how many times he said come here?
You see that one? Now they have a new plan. How to keep this guy from standing up. We have to get him to stand up. How to keep him standing up and getting down a flight. You know, it's so unelegant. You know, I love those 747s, Air Force One. You know, I got new Air Force One. I saved $1.7 billion. They came to me. They said, sir, would you sign this? First day I was in office, I said, what is it? It's a new Air Force One. It's $5.7 billion. I said, that sounds like a lot of money for a plane. It's actually 2 planes, by the way, but they call it Air Force One. They're identical. I mean, even the wood grain, you can't tell the difference. I could tell because there was a little nick in one desk that wasn't on the other. So I could say, that's one, and the other one's two. No, it's incredible, actually. But, you know, those planes are like 32 years old, and nobody wanted to make the move and do it because they think, oh, it'll look luxury. In the meantime, they come in from Saudi Arabia and these other countries, brand new. They're like 3 months old, and they blow it away. And, you know, our country should have the latest and the greatest. So they wanted me to do it. It was $5.7 billion. I said, nope, it's too high. They said, why do you see that? Why are you saying that? Because Obama...
Oh, he is hilarious. Absolutely. Donald Trump would be incredibly funny if he wasn't ushering in fascism.
Obama agreed to the deal. If they agreed to it, it's too high. So the head of Boeing came in and he said, sir, we have to get 5.7. I said, nope, I'm not doing it. I was supposed to sign it. I said, I'm not doing it, not for 5.7. It has to have a 3 on it. I didn't know what that meant, except I knew it was a hell of a cut, right? Right? Right, Al? So they said, sir, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We'll take off $400 million. That was pretty good.
God, you know, he's got to talk about how he's such a good deal maker, everybody.
I said, you know, I've been doing this for about 3 minutes and I got $400 million. Can you imagine the money these people make doing these plans? So I said, no deal. I said, no deal. And it's got to have a 3, got to have a 3. And I held out, and they called up 2 weeks later. I said, what do they want? And They were calling. They said, "Sir, we're going to take another 300 million. That's 700 million off." And I haven't done anything. Probably worked for about 2.5 minutes, and I got 700. And I just said no, and I sort of forgot about it. A month and a half later, they called me up. "Sir, we'll do it for 3,999,999,999.99 right? And I said, "You have yourself a deal." So I saved $1.7 billion on that plane. I was very clever. Does anybody give me credit for that? No.
I'll take things that never happened for 500, Alex.
Does the fake news call me and say, "What a wonderful thing you did"? No. That's okay. That's okay. But your leadership should endorse me, and I will not say a bad thing about them again, and they will have done their job. They will have done a proper job. In fact, if they endorse me, they will have the easiest labor leadership job anywhere in the country. They just have to sit back and watch as our auto industry reignites and booms. That's what's good. They don't even have... Right? I mean, how can they go with this guy? Can't find his way off the stage.
What?
I'm looking at these, I always sort of look at stages now. I get a little, because I say, how the hell do you not find your way? So everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can say, right? You can say what you want about Joe Biden, but at least when he says something, like, it has a meaning to it, right? Like, when Joe Biden says a sentence, there's a point to him saying the sentence. He might say it in a boring way. He might just say a few sentences, but at least they mean things. As opposed to, like, Donald Trump, who will say 1,000,000 sentences and only, like, 1 or 2 actually mean anything of substance.
Once in a while, I'll be in the middle of the speech, I'll look, stairs there. And I say, how the hell does it work that you can't find your way off a stage? How does that work? But he can't. Joe Biden is surrendering our auto industry to China, just like he surrendered our borders to the cartels and he surrendered Afghanistan.
Again, how would this be surrendering the auto industry to China? Because they're still going to manufacture the cars here. They're not manufacturing the cars in China. Because those auto plants don't manufacture American cars and would still be subject to tariffs. Like, dude, everything he's saying on its face is bullshit.
In the most embarrassing weekday time period in the history of our country, he surrendered to the Taliban, took the military out first. You don't take the military, you take the military out last. So tell your UAW leadership, no problems with them, but they have to endorse Trump, because if they don't, all they're doing is committing suicide. And honestly, you don't want that to happen, because they're committing suicide on the back of your jobs, and you can't let that happen. The Democrats, as they wave the white flag of surrender over your future to other foreign countries, you can't have it done. So if you could speak to Sean, he's listening right now, I'm sure. Sean, endorse Trump, and you can take a nice 2-month vacation, come back, and you guys are going to be better than you ever were.
I don't think Donald Trump knows what a strike is. I don't think he knows that taking a 2-month vacation isn't something you could do when you're on strike.
You don't even have to work.
Oh, Mr. Anderson, absolutely.
Vacation,
he's perfected
Sean,
the Gish Gallop.
And in a short period of time, you're not going to have a union, you're not going to have jobs, you're not going to have anything. You have the strongest you've ever had. You're going to do great. You're going to do great. And it's so easy. It's common sense. Again, it's common sense. But unlike them, I will never surrender. I'll never surrender for you. And the American worker never surrenders either. Never. But you need leadership. You know, it's nice to...
Oh, yeah, China has produced so many more cars than the U.S. Forlorn. 100%. It's just that those cars don't get shipped to America because of our tariffs. You know?
Say you never surrender, but you need direction and you need leadership. Crooked Joe puts China first, Mexico first, Ukraine first, Europe first, Asia first, illegal aliens first, environmental lunatics first, puts everyone else first. But he puts America last, he puts our workers last, he puts the UAW last, he puts our industries last, he puts your families last. He puts everything, he does put your children last, yeah. When you think of it, probably they should be at the top of your list. Thank you very much. I'm going to use that. Do you mind if I use that from now on? Who said that? That was very good. He puts your children last. That's going at the top of my list.
Everyone last, including America.
He puts everything that's good last. Mine is slightly different. I put America first every single time. So let me.
Oh my God! What a genius! What a rhetorical, what rhetorical skill.
Let me say to every UAW member and skilled workers all across our nation, Joe Biden, the Democrat Party, and their political cronies, cease to serve your interests a long time ago. They don't care about you. I mean, he came here yesterday. What did he have? 9 people, right? 9. We have 9,000 people outside. He had 9 people. And that's because they didn't know we were coming. They didn't even know we were coming. They just found out. In reality, they don't represent you. They represent a deep state bureaucracy, a global financial class, and a political class that have taken control of this country for their own enrichment and self-purposes.
Oh, you mean capitalists? You're describing capitalists. That's what capitalists do. They consolidate power within the capitalist system and then use that power to further their own interests in capital accumulation. That's what happens in capitalism. You're just describing that.
Stealing your wealth and stealing your labor while...
He means Jews? Well, yeah, but he hasn't started with the Jew, like, dog whistling. He hasn't started with that yet. But, yeah, of course. That is the usual move for someone in his position.
While shipping off...
You know, a fascist. That's a usual move for a fascist.
Our best and brightest to die in
Good night,
expensive,
YouTube.
exotic, foreign wars in countries that you've never even heard of. And just like you're fighting for your rights and your American dream, I'm fighting for my rights and fighting for my freedom against the coordinated, corrupt, very politicized forces of evil. I've never seen anything like it. It's weaponized
forces of evil.
justice. We have a weaponized justice system.
Yeah. Poor Trump. They're going after him for doing little joke things like inflating the value of Mar-a-Lago by 2,400%. You know, just his little jokes. It's not a crime. It's just a little jokey joke.
I want to indict. Think of this. I want to indict my political opponent. He's beating me. We got to indict him. I think, you know, that works 2 ways, because when the next one gets in, let's hope that's me. And I'm sure I'd never do a thing like that. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. But you have an opponent and you say, let's indict him. And because people know me so well, we know each other very well, my ratings and my approval numbers went up. I'm the only person that ever got indicted where my numbers went up. It's a weird... That's because you know me. I didn't take a salary. I worked my ass off. And we did a phenomenal job. We did a phenomenal job for this country. But for the first time ever, I never thought they indict their political opponent. And what that does is it sets off a chain of events that's very dangerous in future years. It could happen to them very easily. The reason Crooked Joe and his thugs are trying so hard to stop me is that in my first term, I disrupted all of it. Oh, did I disrupt? That was called major disruption. And in my second term, which we're sort of having now, but I don't want the results, right? I don't want the results of this second term. This second term is a disaster for this country. Worst president, think of it, there's never been a president like this. I say that you could take the 5 worst presidents in history, add them up, and he's done a worse job than all of them added up, but now I'm changing it.
Are you fucking... You know, presidents who oversaw things like the Trail of Tears. Joe Biden's worse. Like, what? Presidents who enshrine slavery into our legal system. Joe Biden's worse. What are you talking about, bro?
I think I can make it to 10 because nobody, you look at our border, you look at everything, you look at our woke military. I defeated ISIS. Our military was so great.
Yeah, literally, he thinks that Andrew Jackson is the best president the United States has ever had. And again, Jackson oversaw the Trail of Tears.
Great. I rebuilt it. But you look at what's happening in this country, it's horrible. But in my second term, we'll finish the job and we'll get rid of the cheaters, the liars, the scammers, and the criminals. They'll lose their grip on power once and for all. So if you want to save your livelihoods and your way of life, then you need to send a message and join the ultimate strike against the globalist class by casting your vote.
Ah, there's the Jewish dog whistle right there. The globalist class. Curious. Again, to explain the dog whistle, usually globalist is just shorthand for Jews. That's it. That's it. People blame like international banking on Jews, and from international banking you get globalist. There you go. That's the dog whistle.
Vote for a gentleman known as Donald J. Trump in the most important election of our lifetime. I believe this will be the most important election in our lifetime. You know, I used to say that in 2016, and I totally meant it. This blows it away. We're going to lose our country. We're going to lose. We've got probably 15 to 18 million people, the real number, pouring into our country. We have a disaster in Ukraine that would have never happened. We have a potential disaster with Taiwan, China, that would have never happened if it happens. But boy, they are circling. I'll tell you, they want it so badly. And they saw what happened in Afghanistan. They saw what happened with the Taliban. And they say, the people they have there now are grossly incompetent. Putin would have never done it. President Xi would have never done it with me. We talked about things, a lot of things. They would have never done it. They wouldn't have done it for another reason also. In the case of Russia, the oil prices would have been so low that they wouldn't have been able to afford it because you would have had $40 a barrel oil. And at $40, he could not have prosecuted the war. But at $115, he made a fortune and makes a fortune with the war. It's up there.
Hey, Gay Elephant, thank you for jumping over to riverboat.gg. I appreciate that.
And now, I don't know if you've been watching, it's getting up there again now. So give me 4 more years and I will give you the end to this horrible globalism that's killing our country. I'll give you the return of the United States.
Yeah, honestly, Mr. Anderson, I could definitely do with Harriet Tubman on the 20 instead. Remember when that was being proposed? I would much rather Harriet Tubman be on the 20.
United States of America as the greatest and strongest industrial nation in the history of the world. Together we will dismantle the corrupt power structure that has feasted on the suffering of the American auto worker and the workers of any kind, not just auto workers, workers of any kind. We will cast from power the financial forces that have turned American cities into ghost towns.
See, again, I would argue that what he just said right there is another anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic dog whistle, right? Because if he was talking about, like, capitalism, that would make sense. But he's talking about the financial forces, right? And, like, the financial forces are just capitalism.
Gay Elephant.
Kyrie, thank you for gifting a sub to Gay Elephant. I appreciate that very, very much. But, like, he's not saying, you know, oh, these loan programs. He's not saying, oh, capitalism and like the system itself is inherent. No, he's saying the financial forces, as in there are evil forces in the world that control the finances that are trying to destroy our civilization, which again is just neo-Nazi talking points. It's just white supremacy repackaged.
To build skyscrapers in Beijing, China. We will wield every lever of government to defend you and to hold accountable
100%,
those
Steve.
who have profited from the betrayal and suffering of the American factory workers. So sad to see. As your 47th...
Yeah, honestly, again, he toots his horn constantly about, you know, how he would have done such a good job in Afghanistan.
Doing it for the big BWA energy. BWA 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 BWA.
Trans Girl Jade, thank you for getting the tier 3 sub. I hope you enjoy the extra bling in chat. God damn, I really appreciate that. Got that big BWA energy today. But yeah, no, Trump constantly toots his own horn, right? When it comes to like, oh, I would have done so much better in Afghanistan. The reason there was peace in Afghanistan during his campaign was because he literally made a deal with the Taliban to release all of the prisoners the U.S. had in their custody. And then he did it. He released all of the Afghanistan prisoners related to the Taliban. He did it. He made a deal with the Taliban to do that. And then he has the audacity to toot his horn about how he would do such a much better job of pulling out. You literally freed their biggest assets in our custody. Man.
President
Fuck
of
Trump.
the United States, I will be your protector. I will be your advocate, and I will be your greatest champion, the greatest champion.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, any of the U.S. losses that happened during the pullout are directly attributable to Donald Trump and his deal with the Taliban.
You've ever had. On day one, I will terminate Joe Biden's electric vehicle.
Oh, Mr. Anderson, it's been great to hang out with you too.
Cancel every job-killing
Love to see you in
regulation that
chat.
is crushing American auto workers. I will unleash a thing called American energy. Stop
Hey,
the
Gay
ban
Fesh.
on
Welcome
the
back.
internal combustion engine. And we will drill, baby, drill, and we will make zero environmental difference.
Stop the ban on the internal combustion engine. Again, there are still going to be there are still engines in electric cars, dude.
It will have zero environmental difference, zero. In fact, if anything, it's probably cleaner than what they're doing. But it'll save your family a yearly fortune and give you a much better way of life. You're losing your way of life. I will then go to every foreign country where we're paying billions and billions of dollars for their military defense, as I was doing before, and tell them that if they do not massively increase their purchases of Ford, Chevys, GMs, and Jeeps, our troops are packing up and we're coming home. You got to buy our products. You got to buy our products. And that's going to be the least of it. And if we can afford to send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, then we can afford to have an auto industry that pays our workers a good living wage and keeps our workers working. Having a vibrant car industry is far more important than almost anything we can do for a very important thing called national security. We need a rebirth of loyalty in this country. To that end, we will bring back a very beautiful word, protection, financial protection. You're going to be protected financially while we still have the power to do it. You know, there's a run on our currency. They want to take away our currency standards. If that happens, that's the worst thing to happen maybe in our country's history. It'll put us in a much different position. But take a look at what's happening. Countries are leaving our standard. In reality, protectionism never truly went out of fashion. Our corrupt politicians just stopped protecting American jobs and workers, and they started.
But the thing is, we're not even losing gas stations, right? Like, the gas stations are just going to be supplemented by electric charging stations. They're effectively the same thing. If anything, you spend more time at the gas station so they can sell you more stuff. And it's going to be better for gas stations. Like, what is he talking about? Man, dude. Left is best, Sochian. I can't imagine having the brain rot necessary to sit through an entire hour of this man talking and walk away thinking that you, like, just heard some sort of political revelation. I don't get it, man.
Started protecting the jobs and workers in China and Mexico, Germany, South Korea, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, many other countries too. Under the Trump presidency, patriotic protectionism will be the new American way. We want to be protected. That's what we have our...
Protectionism isn't necessarily a good thing? Like, just blanket protectionism isn't good? Well, this seems to be the logic of someone who heard the term protectionism is like, oh, protectionism. Protecting people is good, and like just that was the end of it, you know?
Our government for we want protection in many ways, and we're going to stop the crime in our cities, and we're going to stop the crime in our country. And we're not going to be nice about it. We're not going to be nice about it.
Okay. So you're going to be violent when it comes to stopping crime. Okay, elaborate.
That means protecting our workers, protecting our wages, protecting our jobs, protecting our industries, protecting our communities, and protect...
Are we going to protect our workers against wage theft, the largest form of theft routinely practiced in America? We going to protect workers from that? Interestingly, it's never Republicans who talk about wage theft. Pretty curious, huh?
Our great, something you don't hear about very much anymore, a great American dream. We had an American dream. You don't hear about that with this guy. This guy walks up yesterday, looks like he's going to fall over.
Yep, exactly, Rakusan Dragon. Protectionism can be good when applied in strategic ways, right? It's not good when you're just a blanket protectionist doing that always. You know, we live in an international economy. That's not an approach that works.
Over standing in front of some people. Looks like he's going to fall over. This is not a leader. The whole world is laughing at us. They respected your leader. Whether you like your leader or not, they respected your leader. They said, we're not going to mess. We're not.
Yeah, and exactly, Steve L. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, hydrogen, like, you know, was used in place of, like, gas. We'll see, you know, we'll see what ends up happening. Hey, X.Eyes, thank you for jumping over to riverboat.gg. Oh, true. We have to protect the American working class from becoming, the American middle class. That's true. We have to protect them. If they become middle class, they'll be able to own their own homes and do things like have, gauche pink flamingos in their yard. We have to protect them from this horrible, horrible circumstance.
Not going to mess. Upon taking office, I will impose an across-the-board tariff on foreign-made goods. I will also pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. That means that if China or any other country makes us pay a 100 or 200 or 300% tariff or tax, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100, 200, or 300%. What could be more fair? Right? What could be more?
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna go great, dude. That's exactly how trade works.
I will revoke China's most favored nation. Can you believe they have a most favored nation status? Because they say we are a developing nation. Well, we're a developing nation too. When you look at our cities, we're developing. We're developing in the wrong way. They are doing the worst job. Democrat mayors, Democrat governors. And we will impose stiff penalties on China and other trade abusers. Foreign auto parts manufacturers.
No. Well, look. You say you can't just put a tariff on all imported goods. Okay, but that was before the age of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is here to tell America that we can do anything. That with Donald Trump, anything is possible, including putting tariffs on every imported good. That's the way forward. Anything is possible through Trump, including absolutely pants-on-head stupid policies.
Will be among our first targets. We're going to bring it home from China and other foreign countries on a very grand scale. That's you, McGee. All right? That's you. And because we want all Americans to win and win big from these policies, we will insist that as tariffs on foreign countries go up, because they tariff us crazily, and then we have these stupid people, some congressmen, some senators that say, no, sir, we shouldn't tariff them, but they're tariffing us. It doesn't matter, sir, it's free trade. I say, is this guy okay? But when those foreign countries tariff us, taxes on American workers, which is really what it is, small businesses and middle-class families, we will be doing the same to them, and you will watch things happen that
Trying to think of a sex toy tariff joke, but it's slipping out of my fingers. That's from all the lube.
you won't even believe. For one thing, you're going to bring back jobs at levels. You know, China, they put a big tax on us when we sell a car, a truck, or anything.
They said the Great Depression was the fastest an economy has ever gone down the shitter. Well, with MAGA, all things are possible. We'll send our economy even faster down the shitter.
And they say to the American companies, we don't want your trucks from America. Come over and build a plant over here. So they're building plants all over China. How stupid is it? We should do the same thing. And we started doing the same thing, and we were doing the same thing. I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country, larger than the Reagan tax cut. And we'll do it again. We'll deliver tax cuts, the likes of which you've never seen before. You will do better, make more money, and have a more secure job than you've ever had before.
Okay, I'm just pausing this really quick because this is actually pretty funny. Here's a quick clip. Now, remember, with the Hunter Biden stuff that's been being thrown around by MAGA Republicans, they've basically just been really cagey about what the actual charges are they want to bring against Biden.
Peoples to come over to site chat.
Kyrie, thank you for gifting a sub to X'd Out Eyes. That is very kind of you. Getting all the unsubbed people on the riverboat.gg train. Hell yeah. But this is a Republican representative when just asked simple follow-up questions about, Joe Biden being indicted over the Hunter Biden allegations and what exactly they have. Let's just take a quick listen.
You explain the timing then of the August 6th WhatsApp message. Why is that evidence of some wrongdoing?
I'm not an expert on the timeline. I would love to have President Biden and his family to tell us about all the timelines.
But if he's not the president or the vice president at that time, where's the wrongdoing? He wasn't even a candidate for president at that time.
He was a candidate.
In August 6th of 2017?
Apparently, what source are you with?
I'm with NBC.
So apparently you'll never believe us.
I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm asking you a very direct question. You presented a piece of evidence that you say came on August 6, 2017, that demonstrates that Joe Biden was using political influence to help his son. If he wasn't a political figure at that time, the first WhatsApp message you put up, how does that demonstrate that there's some sort of political influence being put over him if at that time he's not an elected official?
I'm definitely not going to pinpoint one item. I think we've outlined...
You presented it. It was your first thing that you brought up.
So apparently you don't agree with it. So
it's not that I don't agree with it. I'm asking you to explain it.
I'll take the next question.
Yeah, no, at the time, in 2017, Joe Biden wasn't running for anything. He was out of office. He was just chilling. Just Bing chillin'. Silliness. They do not have anything on Joe Biden, and it's so blazingly apparent, because if they did, they would talk about it. they'd be able to answer questions like this. They got nothing. All right, back to this.
Best of all, they will be fully paid for by outsourcers and foreign producers who will be paying trillions and trillions of dollars into our treasury for the privilege of doing business in the United States of America. Isn't that nice?
I don't think that's how that works.
Going to get rid of a big portion of our deficit, too. We're going to tariff and tax them, and you, the American worker, will be the primary beneficiary. And in conclusion, I don't need to tell anyone in this room what the globalists and trade abusers did to the people of Michigan. You've seen the lives wrecked. You've seen your family destroyed. In many cases, the families have been shattered and the communities battered, brutalized, destroyed economically and by crime. But my message to you tonight is that Michigan's abuse under Joe Biden will end, and I will take you to new heights never dreamed of before. Never.
We will make Michigan the city on the hill, shining and gold. I honestly cannot tell if when Trump says globalist, he means Jew. He does. Like, I don't know if that's his intent or if, like, he internalized that rhetoric from just, like, other conservative figures. But, that is effectively the meaning behind what he's saying, you know?
Even dreamed of. The Wall Street predators, the Chinese cheaters, and the corrupt politicians have hurt you. I will make you better. Very simple. I will make you better. For years, foreign nations have looted and plundered your hopes, your dreams, and your heritage, and now they're going to pay for what they have stolen.
What? Foreign nations looted your heritage? How? Explain. Citation needed.
And what they have done to you, my friends. Going to do it together. We're going to take their money. We're going to take their factories. We're going to rebuild the industrial bedrock.
We're gonna sneak over the border, and we're gonna pick up their factories and sneak it back over the border real quick so they don't notice.
Of this country, like it used to be many, many decades ago. By the time this battle is over, the rusted out factories will not be here in Michigan. They'll be in Beijing, Shanghai, and other parts of the world. Taking it back. We're taking it back, and it won't be hard. The gleaming new buildings and roaring production lines will be built in Lansing and Flint and Sterling Heights and Grand Rapids and Pontiac, Dearborn and Detroit. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been preparing my entire life for this battle. We did such a great job 4 years ago. We were unfairly interrupted. Let's be nice about it. We were very unfairly interrupted, but in many ways this is better because we've seen what a bad job they have shown us. What a horrible job they do. And we'll be able to do things that nobody would have thought possible. And people won't be complaining even a little bit. Because between crime and all of the jobs that have been stolen from us and all of the factories that have been closing, all of the bad things that have been happening with Afghanistan and with Ukraine and with everything, people will say, wow.
I will make all of the bad things go away. I alone can fix it. Don't look into where that rhetoric might come from. Don't open a history book, folks.
We want these changes.
In fact, history books are dumb and gay, and people who know about them are dumb and gay. And honestly, you should just burn them anyway. Just burn them, folks.
Changes to be made. We want these changes to be made very, very quickly. Just 3 years ago, we had a great economy and the strongest borders in our country's history. We had the best, strongest in our history. We were energy independent soon.
Again, like Rakkasan Dragon, you're 100% correct there. Like, the revival of the Rust Belt hinges on the success of the unions, right? But also, like, the Rust Belt is primed for being used as, like, the manufacturing hub for, like, renewable energy. And we talked about this earlier on stream, and, like, honestly, that's the dream, right? Revitalizing manufacturing in the United States for renewable energy. X'd out eyes, thank you.
To be dominant, we had no inflation. We had a rebuilt. I rebuilt the entire military, United States military. We gave $80 billion. Think of it, brand new tanks and planes and goggles and 700,000 guns and rifles, 70,000. You make cars?
We sent them goggles.
Who has a used car lot with 70,000? And these are nobody. If you have 500 cars, they tell me that's a lot. You have 70,000, and these are armor-plated in many cases. These cost millions of dollars apiece. Many cases. We gave them 70,000. Do you know that Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of weapons in the world right now? Can you believe it? They're selling all of this stuff that these guys just gave them. How stupid are we?
Citation needed. Because again, mostly the standard operating procedure by the US military when you're pulling out is not to bring all the stuff with you. The operating procedure is to sabotage the stuff you're leaving behind. You sabotage the stuff you leave behind, you render it inoperable, and then you leave. Like the idea that oh they're selling all of the arms we left behind, but that's like not a thing they can do, really? Like, at all.
Stupid are we to allow that? We were getting out. I was the one that got it down. We were going to keep Bagram, the air base, because it's right next to where China, forget about Afghanistan, where China makes their missiles, nuclear missiles.
What?
It's 1 hour away. We were going to keep that. They ran from it. They ran from it. They left it. They left the lights on. They left the dogs, by the way, for those people that like the dogs. It's a big question. They left the dogs. But we were going to keep that. We were going to do a job, and we were going to be out. We were getting out with real dignity and strength. We weren't going to lose those 13 incredible souls that I met the parents and family the other night. They're incredible people. They're so devastated. They don't talk about the 38 people that were literally no arms, no legs, the faces blown to pieces, and the hundreds of other people that died, all unnecessarily. Wouldn't have happened. You know, I spoke to...
Wait, how on earth is Bagram Air Base at all near where China is making nuclear missiles? What is he talking about? No, like actually, what is he talking about? Right? Like, this is Bagram Airport right here, right? You can drive and be in, Pakistan. You can drive for an hour and be in Pakistan, maybe. But, if you want to be in China, like, that's gonna take a little bit more doing. What are you talking about? Like actually.
To Abdul, the head of the Taliban, we had a rough conversation. I said, listen, Abdul, don't kill any of our people anymore. You kill any of our people, we're going to hit you harder than anybody's ever been hit. And he said, but why do you send me a picture of my home? I said, you'll have to figure that out. You'll have to figure that one out. You're going to have to figure that one out. But you know what? After that, for 18 months, not one soldier was killed in our country. They were sniping them and killing them. And he's still there. He's in charge. Can you imagine the feeling when they said, Abdul, the Americans have left. The soldiers are gone. He said, no.
Again, he's talking about the peace he bought by releasing thousands of Taliban fighters and leaders.
No, they would never do that. Only stupid people would do that. No, the soldiers have gone. Before we took the equipment, before we took our people out, we have hundreds of people, maybe thousands, but we have hundreds of people that are American citizens that are still there. We took the soldiers out first. That was the problem. And they should have used Bagram as their place because you had tremendous area. It wouldn't have been that disaster that you witnessed with the planes going up. Remember when Biden said, we'll never have a...
Well, they left at the Kabul airport because that's where the last troops in Afghanistan were, because the Taliban were advancing on the capital. Oh, he's right. The Taliban are now arms dealers. Terrorists are shopping for left-behind American weapons. Damn, okay. Oh, maybe they probably didn't disable the small arms. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Damn, you can get an AK-47 for $130. Huh. Oh, a knockoff AK-47. That makes sense. Damn. That sucks. Should have had a better plan to pull out. I wonder whose fault that was. Wonder whose fault that was.
Vietnam, with the helicopters going up, well, this was worse. This was a plane going up with people hanging all over the plane and falling from 3,000 feet in the sky. That's 3 times the height of the Empire State Building, by the way. Russia was not going into Ukraine. China was not going into Taiwan. We had our enemies in full retreat. They respected us all over the world. We were respected. Now we're laughed at as a country. And now we're coming back to do it all over again. And I promise you this, with me as your president, our opponents will lose and our American workers will be the biggest winner of them all. So with your help and with your vote, we will expel the globalists from our government. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House. We will put America and our workers first. We're going to put them first. And we will do something that's very, very special that I've been saying for a long time, and we had it going at a level that nobody ever thought possible. We will make America great again. So thank you. God bless you, Michigan, and God bless you.
Oh, thank God it's over. Thank God.
God bless America. God bless
thank
everybody
God.
in this room. Thank you all very much.
Oh, yeah.
So nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, finally. Oh, we are free. We're free, chat. We're goddamn free. I'm sorry I subjected all of you to that. Did you watch the debate yet? Yeah, we watched it live. But you can watch the VOD. I just returned, so I don't know if you talked about it, but didn't Trump give the order to pull out, then Biden just paused and then resumed it? Yeah, like, I don't know that Biden even paused it, because operations were already underway to pull out of Afghanistan. So, yeah, Trump basically initiated the process of pulling out of Afghanistan, and then handed the entire situation to Biden. Kind of just to be an asshole, to be honest, but hey, at least we're out now.